specifically talking about the maps, I believe that the maps could have been better. They've, I mean, they've gotten better, I guess. Not really. But in terms of size, it's been weird. So the three maps that they had in the closed beta was City Streets. I completely forgot the name of it. City Streets, Horizon Factory, and Army Depot. In terms of ranking those maps, in my opinion, personally liked City Streets because that was honestly the first map that I did play. You know, it seemed, you know, different. Kind of felt like it would be a pretty fun map to play, and it was pretty fun to play. Then Horizon Factory, and I feel like Horizon Factory was like a good mixture of aesthetically, it feels more kind of in tuned. KF2 maps are. City Streets is kind of like in the middle, but then Army Depot is like my least favorite because it's cool that they made it, you know, nighttime, but it's not fun essentially because it's just the map is huge in comparison. Horizon Factory is like a good mix. I'm trying to remember. I think what was the one map that's in here? I don't remember the map, but essentially Horizon Factory reminds me of essentially that map was super small and you could literally just, you're not going to be too far from like the trader. I think it's called, was it Power Core? I feel like it's Power Core. But near the end, like halfway through, I started liking Horizon Factory because it felt more like a KF map than City Streets and Army Depot. Army Depot just felt more cluttered because there's just random obstacles for you to like be in. You know, there's like just random stuff that's just in the way. I guess it's to like, you know, create a flow, but it just feels like they just placed random stuff around the map, you know. Yeah, I mean, City Streets isn't bad. But I did see like some videos where there was another map called Office, which is cool, you know, nothing too bad, nothing terrible. This is terrible. I mean, just how everything is with the maps. It's just, I get what people are going for. It's like, it doesn't feel like a Killing Floor game because the color palette, the aesthetic isn't really there. There's barely any dead bodies around. There's like no blood stains anywhere. It's just super clean, like as if someone went and cleaned up the whole incident. You know, like, yeah, there's rubble here and there, but it just feels there isn't really much, you know, dead bodies around. It kind of went to the route where like they want everyone to be able to see what they're looking at. Like right now, I can't even see anything. There's no, as what people say, there's no soul in KF3. I mean, the maps could have been better. I mean, I really wish we were able to play that other map that like I guess other people were able to play, which seemed very interesting, but it had the same color palette as City Streets, you know, like the gray scale color palette. And I get it, like looking at that is like very like there's just more monotone dull colors, and some people want to see like more vibrant. Like, what is this? Like, did I do this? No. Yeah, this is like part of the map. Like, this blood, you know, there's blood here and there. There's aesthetics that there was like there's a reason why. Wow, storytelling in terms of like what happened here. You could tell like something happened here. There's blood here. There's blood there. There's that feast. I don't know what that even supposed to mean, but you know, feast. Someone was hungry, I guess. The maps could be better, but I'm hoping they kind of go with, if they want to go with that gritty aesthetic, it's not that difficult if you want to make a futuristic setting, but make it seem very dystopian. And you know, there's a dead body right there. You know, it's more of like giving each map a feel and a characteristic that everyone would remember. Horizon Factory more than City Streets because not because of just playing it a lot, but Horizon Factory had like this whole, you know, army of flesh pounds in a viewing like you overlook like an army of them, you know. There's also the trap area, or essentially the foundry, where they have like a melting pot. Don't know why there's a melting pot there, but it's there. You know, like the trap will drop boiling, like molt. I don't like magma. Would it be considered magma? Something like that. But you know, it's like a mixture of like modern. You see like their technology used. You know, it's literally a factory. It has this like molten bucket that drops like I don't know the term of it, but you get my drift. You know, like there's something there. While City Streets is like, oh, we're in the city, in the streets, people living there before, you know, the Zeds decided to attack. But you know, you could tell that there was a fight, there was things happening, but where's the bodies? Why is the floor super clean? You know, like there should be more than just blood somewhere. You know, like this is like an attack that happened. Clamley Square, whatever I think it was called. That's the location called. And so it's like, so where's the bodies? You know, like give it more character rather than just keeping it clean. I think that's the thing, like, because a lot of the maps have characters, you know, a lot of the maps have like characters to them, but I just feel that with KF3, it's not the lack of characters, it's just the lack of what people have been saying, a lack of soul in the maps, and it makes sense, you know, like. A lot of the maps in KF1 had characters, had like a good characteristic to it. KF2 was roughly the same, but half of the maps were community made. So I mean, community maps had more characteristics than than the other. Why am I out here? This was Bad News Bears. I don't know. I don't know if you guys would catch my drift about this, but like I don't know. I just feel like the maps just kind of lacked soul. You know, there's not much to really say about it, because yeah, you can remember the name, but you can't remember everything of it, because City Streets only had the turrets and that open area near that one building. Yeah, see, that's very descriptive, right? So to me it just feels more or less level wise not that great, you know. It's I guess because to me the maps themselves just feel almost the same, but they only put different things around you to, you know, figure, you know. Yeah, what is this? Okay. I started to panic. That was bad. Yeah, like in terms of just the game itself, like the maps themselves, it's I feel bad because, like, you know, I understand like level designing can be difficult, and trying to fit a certain aesthetic can also be difficult if you're stuck to a certain theme, and it creates that weird of like, we want to make this feel very drastic in terms of like, this is the future now, like this is the stuff that they have to deal with. I get it, like 70 years has passed, but now it just feels more or less that the game itself feels like there's no life to it, because there's no real no real aesthetic to it. Like, you can have a futuristic theme, you can create an aesthetic that's primarily based off of what you're trying to do. Like, if you want to make a futuristic level, make it feel futuristic, but you also want to have that grittiness. Like, don't make the game, like, don't make it bright. I feel like I should have just played this on like a longer wave. You can make something feel futuristic, but it should really show that you want to make a darker theme to it. And obviously there's some easy ways to do it, as per se. Like, you can't just, because I feel like what Tripwire is relying on to create this grittiness, this dark theme, is that you're the one causing the slaughter. You're the one causing the blood to show up all over the map, dismemberments and all that. But that's not what we should be doing. you know, like it's a cool system that you're essentially painting the town red, but it just feels that they want to do that because their dismemberment system is what is their key focus, and I get it, but there should be, you know, some places should be bloodied. If some places needs to be dark, some places needs to feel like claustrophobic, like, kind of like how Bedlam was. Bedlam was just dark, but that was the map that I truly loved playing. Not because I was stuck trying to unlock the Grim Reaper and Commando Chicken, but that whole thing just feels more kind of thing. Like obviously here it's this map. I don't remember if this was like an actual map or not. You know, you have different colors happening. You have greens, reds. You know, like you have blues. You have different types of lighting, but most of the lighting here in KF3 is just the same. There's barely like that's why Horsing Factory is probably like the better map now that I'm talking about it, which is funny because I said City Streets. Like there's fire happening, you know. There's just like there's a lot of things that they could have done in terms of design wise for the maps. Like I think there was fire in I forgot the map in City Streets. I'm even forgetting the maps, which is, you know, weird because I'm talking, like I said, City Streets my favorite, but now I'm talking about Horsing Factory more than anything else because that's like probably a better example of them making the map feel different. I know with Army Depot, even though I trashed Army Depot being terrible, but at least Army Depot had some different colors here and there in terms of lighting. They had red lights in that middle area, and then they had some yellow in one of the trader areas. So it's like, I mean, it's not that bad. But City Streets just only has gray colors. Wow, he actually got me. It just feels like there was just they just gave us like a work in progress map, limited color palette essentially, as it would seem. But I mean, maybe because I'm more interested in how they're doing that world building, just like how they were doing the world building with KF1 and 2. But it just feels so. It just feels off. I don't know how else to explain it because I can't even get my thoughts straight because I'm fighting Hans Volter right now. But yeah, I mean, I just feel that maybe, just maybe, if they decide to create more maps for KF3, they just need to add more of that dark theme to it. Like, not literally add darker levels, it's just bring out more of that aesthetic that they want to go for. Like some of the maps that were played, just Army Depot had it right, but just how they executed it was just bad, in my opinion. Like, I'm not gonna say I have the best opinion in the world, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of the map design, they could have been better. I mean, it just like they did one thing good in each map, but each time they did it kind of backfired because then there's other issues in terms of like the aesthetics that they were going for. And so that's just how I feel about the maps. Like, maybe I might be wrong because like I'm not a map designer, but in terms of like stylizing and telling a story of what's going on, like there's a lot of things they could have done better in terms of creating that aesthetic that they want to go for with the use of colors, the lighting, and just how everything should feel. But I digress.